Today marks 1 month since the fires started on Maui, burning through parts of upcountry and consuming much of Lahaina, leveling the historic town and claiming at least 115 lives.
And joining us now live is Maui County Mayor Richard Bissen. Mayor, thank you so much for making the time for us tonight. We really appreciate it. And we want to start with something that's important to a lot of people. You know, the unaccounted for list dropped today from 385 to 66, which of course is a really significant drop. So how long will people remain on that list, and at what point are they considered deceased?
So of course, we're leaving that to the FBI, our professionals, as well as our Maui Police Department. A large part of that has to do with verifying who the person was that put in the lost person or missing person case, as well as verifying as much as we can through all of the work that's being done still in the field and in the identification centers.
And Mayor, how many lawsuits have been filed against the county for the fires so far? And if the county loses these lawsuits, where will the money come from? Will taxes go up?
Well, of course, that's still being reviewed by our legal department, our corporation counsel. We have private outside counsel. They are handling all of those matters, either those that are being brought against the county or those that the county may also be filing. I think it's too soon to tell what financial impact that may have on our county, so we will be looking into that for sure.
And we know that you took yourself out of the decision making because of conflict, but why did Maui County decide to sue HECO so quickly with the official cause of the fire not out yet?
Yeah, again, that's something you just mentioned. I'm not involved in that for conflict reasons. I did not get involved in the discussions with the hiring of outside counsel or receiving advice from other towns that have gone through something similar to what we're going through. So I trust the decisions of my staff, the managing director, the corporation counsel, and the private outside counsel.
Mayor, have you or your family received any threats, including online? And what's being done as far as security to keep you, your family, and others in your administration safe?
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea for me to discuss the steps that have been taken to protect everybody in our county, but in particular those that have decision-making roles. I think that as far as the number, I'm again not going to discuss what's happening here. I will say, though, that we have taken all the steps that we think we should take to protect everyone involved.
And Mayor, we understand that you just got back from Kula and Lahaina today. Is there any update that you can provide us with?
Yes, our community is very resilient. That is the update. We spent today honoring and remembering not only those that have lost loved ones, but mostly to be among our community, to be with our first responders, to focus on what's happening up country and on the west side for those who've lost so much. But what I was mostly taken by today was just the amount of working together among our community volunteers. We were able to honor our police officers in person and our police fire folks that are up country and those in the west side. So again, learning so much about how resilient our community is and how much they're pulling together, folks being so generous in their donations and volunteering their time. And it was my decision to be among our community today and focus on our folks, our island, our county. That was the main focus for today.
Mayor, there's long been talk about diversification, not just for Maui County, but for the whole state. Is this perhaps a time to pivot away from tourism as the economic engine for Maui?
Well, I think it's, again, too early to talk about that kind of a change, because I think anytime you talk about economic change, you need to talk about what would you change that with. Clearly, we will be having a lot of construction on our island on the west side and some of the homes up in Kula. So there will be a need for folks that are in that industry, the construction industry, the building industry. Don't know if that means we're going to replace tourism with that, but I'm sure that's a conversation to have later.
Today, Governor Josh Green said that starting October 8th, tourists will once again be welcomed back to West Maui. What are your thoughts on this date?
I think while I understand there's a desire for jobs and to get people back to work, there's also a need to allow people to mourn. I think by setting that deadline, that lets me know that my team and I will have to work really hard with, for the next 4 weeks for sure to try to meet that deadline by setting up community meetings, sitting with our Maui people, listening to their concerns, listening to their challenges, finding out what sort of hopes and dreams do they have for Lahaina. I think that's really where our focus will be in the next 4 weeks, is having that community engagement. How is this opening going to look? Are we going to phase it in? Clearly, there are some businesses that are able to accept and accommodate business and consumers, but others may not be ready. So again, I think it starts with talking and engaging our community, and that's my pledge to our community, to do just that.
Are you and the fire department working on a plan to add more firefighters, trucks, stations, equipment? A union spokesperson told us there wasn't enough firefighters on August 8th.
Well, I think we can talk about having 4 fires, 3 at the same time, simultaneous. Obviously, there were a total of 4 throughout that day. I think that's something that I'll leave to the experts to decide how many firefighters are needed. No one has ever expected it. No one expected it to be something of this magnitude. There is a discussion. We were already planning a new fire department in Olowalu, working with the West Maui Taxpayers Association. They had already started to work on that. That would have been a smaller station on the west side. Of course, the fire department and the union folks need to be consulted on what is the capacity, what is the amount that we should be having throughout our island, perhaps our state. But that's a discussion I think we'll leave to the experts.
Have there been any reports of looting or violence, Mayor?
I'm sure the police department would know the exact numbers of that. I have heard that. I don't know exactly the number of those, but I think the police have investigated rumors and also reports of that. I would defer to the police chief for that.
And Mayor, how much can the governor influence the rebuilding of Lahaina when properties are privately owned?
Well, of course, the state has an economic interest in what happens throughout the 4 counties of Maui. We have a direct impact for our county as well. So I think the important thing is for us to talk to our business owners, the business community, as well as those that work in those industries to see, what is it that we need to do? What can we do as government to assist our businesses that want to get back into, start back up again?
There's going to be a significant loss in the transient accommodations tax, or TAT, plus, a huge loss in visitor spending. So how does the county plan to make up the losses in taxes?
Well, of course, those are the very conversations we're having. Our focus is so much on the recovery right now. Our focus is so much on taking care of our people, those who have lost so much, that are hurting. I think it takes time for people to have to grieve and go through this process before we start, asking them about, are they ready to go back to work? I know businesses are ready to open. We've said that already. But I think it's important for us to monitor and to meet with our folks, our community, and find out from them where are they at. And I think that's going to be different for different people. I don't think everyone obviously mourns in the same pace or grieves in the same way. The losses are different for each family. Not everyone, went through the same experience. So I'm going to find out what our community wants to do, and that's what's going to guide me.
You said during your taped speech a week ago you didn't find out people had died until August 9th, the day after the fire destroyed Lahaina. Why did it take so long for you to find out how bad it was?
That wasn't long. I don't think anybody knew on August 8th what had happened. I'm not sure how anyone would have known that evening as the fires were going on. But we were getting our reports from the police and the fire folks who were working in there. We knew there were injuries. We knew there were people that were being taken to the hospital, people that were being flown to Straub. But we were finding out as soon as we could, as soon as it was verified by those on the ground, and as soon as I knew, I passed that information on to the state as well. So I don't know that the next day was something seen as too late. I think that was when we got the information from those on the ground.
And you know, people might not realize it, but you and your administration have been working really hard and long hours behind the scenes. So what are you now focused on moving forward?
I think our focus today was entirely on being among our community. Today, our focus was on those parts I talked about upcountry and Lahaina, and visiting our hubs, visiting our folks in the community who are doing so much to help each other. Of course, giving them hugs, giving them aloha, and just thanking them so much for the hard work that they're doing. I think as you go through an experience like this, it can be a bonding experience. People have changed their routines. People have changed what they once did during their days. Now they're finding ways to help each other. People who were once strangers are now, getting to know each other better, volunteering. People are feeling good about helping others. Everyone is very saddened by what's happened. All of us have been impacted. We've changed forever on Maui. We're all changed. We're not who we were the day before this happened. And so everyone has accepted, or I should say, allowed themselves to be part of that change. And what they know is, what can we do now? We're focusing on how can we move people forward? How can we help each other, the person next to us? And again, that was the focus for today, and the takeaway I said earlier was how resilient our community is and how together they've come. They've bonded together, they're strong, and they know we're going to make it through this. They know we're going to do this together. They understand that we are all in this together, and we're in it for the long run. People will leave, the lights will dim, people will go back to wherever they're from, but we'll still be here, all of us on Maui, and we'll continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with each other. And that's really the message, is that Maui is together.
Mayor Bissen, this is your first term as mayor. What have you learned from the fires? Is there also anything you would have done differently or any regrets?
Absolutely, we would do things differently. I don't think you can go through an experience like this and not understand that. The best thing we can do is prevent this from ever happening again. The best thing we can do is pass our experience on to our 3 other counties, which we are already doing. We're already talking among each other. The best thing we can do is learn from other places that have gone through this. So absolutely, we have learned things about responding, preparation. Without getting into any specifics, there are lots. And we'll put that together. We're not waiting for a report or a investigation. We'll put forth some of the things we've learned very shortly for the benefit of other places, other counties, and also for ourselves. We're still in the hurricane season, and so there are things we can implement, and we have implemented immediately.
All right. Well, we can't imagine how busy you must be. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us tonight. Maui County Mayor Richard Bissen, thank you so much.
Mahalo Mika, mahalo Marissa.
Aloha.
Thank you. And we'll have much more news ahead after this.